Good morning, this is Casey, 5 Tons with Guns, back with you on the David Singery furnace, gas-fired furnace rebuild, modification, revision, and such. This is the third one I've built so far, and maybe probably the last. But this is the base, which I feel is the most important part of the furnace, or most of the attention probably ought to be brought into. The other two forms, the central body and the lid, we have them ready and prepped, but they're a fairly simple affair to put together. So anyway, we got a 13 inch diameter furnace, and it will take a number 8 crucible. I used the number 6. And here we go. Here's what we've done here. We've stitched it around here with all these little brackets. In the book it says to use 4, if not more. So we've got 8 of those. We've got the 1 3/4 inch pipe, 2.5 inches long for the safety hole. We've got, instead we just riveted it in, and it'll probably burn out anyway. So I don't want to have to come back in and jiggle around on it and harm my refractory in any way. And of course we've got the handles. That's another modification. I'll turn this around here. Before we do that, we'll show you we've got the line here, and this line is 2.5 inches from your bottom. And here's the measurements. 3.5 inches from the top, because you've got a 6-inch base. But anyway, if you draw this line all the way around, and see how it lines up with the tweeter hole just perfectly. So whenever you get your first pour in, you got everything level, and you put your tweeter in for your top pour, while your tweeter is going to be laying level with your bottom base, your first pour. That way you'll have everything in perfect alignment. And you'll see us get ready for that in the next video. Now, before you make your first pour, you're probably going to miscalculate, maybe have some overage or excess on your refractory cement, and rather than waste it or throw it out, you might want to start making some of these sheet metal plinths, and they're 1.5 inches tall and 4 inches diameter. And a number 6 crucible fits nicely on them. And they say to take a dowel and put the grooves in it for the metal to flow. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to, when I make my bottom pour, that's where my dowel pins are going to come in, and I'm going to put my grooves in the bottom of the furnace, running towards the safety hole. We'll see how that works out. I never have had a crucible fail on me, even though let me give you an example. I'll walk over here and get one to show you. Here's one here, has well over 100 pours. And at 60 pours, it started developing a crack. And I treated it with ground glass and something else. It's on a video. I gotta look at my own videos nowadays to catch up on what I'm doing. But anyway, this has got well over 100 pours, and it has not failed. And I could probably use it again, but you know, see how the crack is growing and growing and growing. So it's time to retire this one. But you know, having never had a crucible fail, there is probably a first time for everything, right? If it can happen, it probably will. So think about that. Now, again, this is the most crucial part, you know. I showed you yesterday, you know, on how the tweeter is going to come in here, and at the shortest end, you want 3 inches of it to be out. And you get your first pour in here, put your form in, put your screw in from the inside of your form that you've already pre-drilled on your tweeter. You've got everything nice and level and straight and plumb. You know, I tell you what, you know, I am so thankful that I hung on to these forms. And it's an 8-inch diameter form. And it's 8 inches tall. And you'll need to make them. I suggest you hang on to them. But anyway, what we're going to be using, the product we'll be using here is this US Refractories Lucas 3000. And we're using the Harbison Walker. I don't know why we got this, but we did. But we're going to have to recalculate everything now. You can see the scales, and we're doing our conversions. And with the Harbison Walker, we had everything bagged up in little batches. And we've got a video on this where we were using a ice cream mixer, a hand crank, to mix up our refractory. Because after all, it said to use a paddle mixer. That's the only thing we could come up with. So next time you see us, we'll have our bottom base poured, 2.5 inches of refractory cement in there, and we'll be ready to center our 8-inch form in here, attach our tweeter nice and level and neat, spot weld it 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and any excess that we have, we'll have these plinths made up. So, you know, I go through a lot of plinths. I need to have a lot of them on hand. I've got 9 of these made up already, and I just leave the sheet metal on them, and it'll burn off. Anyway, that's it for this session on the rebuild modification of the David Singery foundry furnace. And we'll see you on the next video. And if you like what you see, why subscribe if you care to. And we'd like to hear from you. Thank you for watching.